Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. 13 huge Coronation Street spoilers for next week. Next week on Coronation Street, Daisy finalizes her escape plan before leaving Weatherfield, while Debbie receives a devastating diagnosis. Meanwhile, Carla's suspicions that Betsy is faking her injury to cause tension in her relationship with Lisa. With their plan to scam Jenny almost at an end, Daisy's suspicions are piqued when Christina refuses to get rid of her burner phone and let Dom message Jenny directly. Daisy is soon distracted when Jenny finally confesses that she's received an inheritance from Daisy's dad and wants to invest in Dom's company. Meanwhile, Daniel visits the Rovers and is confused to find Christina with two phones. Oblivious to the scam, Jenny transfers the money to Dom's account. However, Daisy realizes all may not be what it seems when she overhears a private conversation between Christina and Dom. Later, Julie's bingo fundraiser gets underway. As Christina calls out the numbers, Daisy finds Jenny panicked in the back room. Following the events at the fundraiser, Jenny begs Daisy not to leave. Meanwhile, Daniel, Kit, and Ryan recount their failed relationships with Daisy. With her departure looming, Daisy finalizes her escape plan. Before she departs, she shares a heart-to-heart with Daniel. Will his words change Daisy's mind, or will she go through with her plan? Debbie is nervous ahead of her hospital appointment and turns down Ronnie's invitation for lunch by making out she's attending a meeting with Carl. At the hospital, Debbie's worst fears are confirmed when the neurologist tells her she has vascular dementia. Debbie reels from the diagnosis, but the neurologist advises that as long as she leads a healthy lifestyle, she can carry on as normal for now. Debbie swears Carl to secrecy and insists that she's not ready to tell the family. As they leave the hospital, Debbie receives an upsetting glimpse of her future when she encounters a woman with dementia. Unaware of Debbie's life-changing news, Ronnie is excited to tell her he's put in an offer for number 6. However, she decides to end their relationship. Following their conversation, Debbie visits a heartbroken Ronnie and assures him that he did nothing wrong. Carla grows suspicious that Betsy is playing up her injuries, but Lisa is convinced that Betsy needs her around and decides to take time off work to look after her. Later, Carla is frustrated when she is tasked with looking after Betsy, but soon catches her out when she witnesses Betsy preparing lunch with her injured hand. When Carla points out Betsy's lie, Betsy angrily leaps up and sends her lunch flying across the flat, just as Lisa returns. Having caught Betsy out, Carla makes a jab at Betsy for faking her injuries, but Lisa lets the incident slide. However, when Tracy demands payment for damages to her stolen van, Carla makes it clear that Betsy should contribute. Will Lisa defend Betsy or finally realize she's being played? While Betsy is taking the blame for stealing Tracy's van, viewers know she's actually covering for Lauren, who drove off in a panic. Lauren confides in Bobby that she's responsible for the incident, but is unnerved to be receiving threatening text messages from someone who knows the truth. Gary admits to Maria that business is slow at the shop and considers his options for the future. When he tells her he's thinking of selling up and buying the builder's yard, Maria reminds him they can't afford it. Gary fills Mick in on his dilemma and points out that Maria isn't keen on the idea. Mick plays down Maria's concerns and claims that what's best for Gary is best for Maria too. Later, Maria is put out to see Gary and Mick sharing a celebratory drink. Determined to buy the builder's yard, Gary promises Maria that he'll make it a success. However, Maria insists that offering Mick a job was a mistake and tells Mick he isn't welcome. Meanwhile, Liam's phone is snatched at the precinct. As the lads terrorize him, Mick arrives. What will he do? Abby senses that something is on Carl's mind, and when she questions him, Carl reveals he wishes he had spent more time with Kevin over the years. Abby tries to reassure him and admits that she's pleased he's back in Kevin's life. Carl responds by pulling Abby in for a kiss. Eileen has a fall in the kitchen and is unimpressed when George asks Brian to take her to A&E as he's too busy. Meanwhile, Julie heads to the Rovers in her new wheelchair and delivers some home truths to George. When Julie tells him he needs to make more of an effort with Eileen, George fears for his relationship. Dee Dee finds Ronnie trying to soothe Layla, and it's clear he's struggling. With James still absent, Dee Dee tells Ed that she'd like to help out with Layla until he returns.